Good morning, all. Today we are going to see the topic by the name called as binary phase shift keying. So, where this particular shift keying concept will come? See, normally whenever we're talking about shift keying concept, at that time we'll be always going to convert your digital data to an analog signal. So, shift keying will happen with respect to whenever we'll be just we need to generate a particular analog signal. Then it's a sinusoidal wave. Sinusoidal wave will be having three important characteristics. First one is amplitude, second one is frequency, third one is phase. So first two we have discussed in the last previous class, previous discussion. So that is amplitude shift keying followed by frequency shift keying. Now we'll move on to the next topic that is called as phase shift keying. Phase shift keying, this is very similar to your binary amplitude shift keying principle itself. Why it is similar? Because you will be using the same multiplexer as well as the oscillator for generating the carrier frequency. Why carrier frequency is needed? Carrier frequency is nothing but it can, by mixing your original signal with respect to your transportation mode by the name called as carrier frequency, it can travel to a larger distance. So as I have given an example with respect to traveling from your home to college, you require within a stipulated amount of time if you want to reach it. How much duration that you want to take it, depending on that, your transportation mode will be changing. If you want to go with a large, if you have enough amount of time, stipulated time is not all important. Enough amount of time, you can walk and go, you can jog and go. Whereas if you want to reach the destination within a stipulated amount of time, very short duration is there, then you can go with changing the mode of transportation. You can use the public transportation little bit faster than your jogging and the walking. Whereas with respect to that also, if it is not possible, that means you have missed your public transportation mode. Normally it is better to use public transportation mode. Even though if you miss it, then you have your own vehicle, two-wheeler or four-wheeler, anything, you can just go with it. Or else you can use the plane also, aeroplane if possible. If you can afford and if everybody can afford it, yes, we can go with it. So it purely depends, right? The same particular transportation medium, here we are calling it as oscillator. Why oscillator is used? Why can't we use any other circuit with respect to your electronic design? Why only oscillator? Oscillator, why we are using it? Because it accepts the DC component thing. And the second one is it can generate, or it will be generating a unidirectional voltage or unidirectional signal into bidirectional signal with the help of your DC component. Within no cost, you can go with it. So that's why your particular oscillator comes into picture. Understanding it. So why we, and then why multiplexer? See, these two signals need to be combined. For combining it, we require one circuit. That circuit is nothing but a multiplier. So multiplier will be just not multiplexer, multiplier. Multiplier or multiplexer, you just go with it. Two signals, it will be combined to form a one simple output. That is what you call as multiplexing, right? The same thing, you can just have it. So for that, multiplier is the device that we'll be using it, or the electronic circuit that we'll be using it. So once we have done it, you'll be getting the output. What is the output that we need to have it? For your amplitude shift keying, wherever your particular 0 bit is transmitted, it will not be having any amplitude at all. It will be nullified with respect to the reference model. So instead of nullifying it with respect to your phase, change the phase. If it is starting, if your 1 bit is started with respect to 0 degree phase, then your 0 bit, whenever it is transmitted at that particular duration, you change that particular phase. How to change it? So instead of starting from 0 followed by 90 degree, it should start from 180, then it should traverse to 270, then it need to go with 0 degree followed by 90 degree followed by 1 second. Same thing. 0 or 360, both are one and the same. Okay, so that's how it will be just need to move. See here, check out with respect to this diagram. What I just talked about. Understand? This is nothing but your binary phase shift keying principle. Okay. The next one is, this one is not important, but still I'm just explaining you for the curiosity purpose, because we have listed that with respect to our different stages of your digital to analog conversion, right? So under that we have listed it. So that's why we just took it as an example how this will be generated. Quadrature means quadrature. Quad is always 4 different points. That's what we'll be just reminding it, right? So with respect to that particular 4 different points, if I want to have it means 2 bits at a time I need to transmit it. Keep this in your head. Okay. So based on that, quadrature with respect to that phase shift keying is used, not amplitude shift keying. Normally, quadrature shift keying principle, if you want to use it, it's a combination of your both the parties, that is amplitude as well as phase. Understanding it. So this is how it will be working. So in your quadrature phase shift keying, so always I said quadrature, quad, 4 points you need to have it. 4 points in combination of 2 you can have it. So 2 bits at a time I need to transmit it. So that's what it says. So 2 bits at a time in that, separate the MSB bit, separate the LSB bit. Calculate or generate the signal separately. Then you combine. That is what you call as a 2-to-1 converter. Understanding it? So for your carrier frequency, how it will be generated? It will be similar to your phase shift key. What it is done, or amplitude shift key? What it will be done? It will be using the oscillator to generate the frequency, right? Same thing. Carrier frequency to generate an oscillator, you need to use it. So what you need to just keep in your mind is, with respect to your multiplier, 2 multipliers will be used, one at the LSB, another one as the MSB. Once it is done, if it is carrying only 2 bits, 3 bits is done means for all the 3 separately, you combine it at last. So for that 3 bits, oscillator is one and the same. That is, frequency generator is one and the same. Then you will be just taking that particular thing to the next stage. That is, combining all the signals will give you the quadrature output. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So this is how it will be working. So 0 with respect to it, always it starts from lowest particular bit. This is bipolar. I'm just taking the example. Sorry, polar, not the bipolar. Polar. Polar in that line coding technique, if you just can remember it. So in the polar technique, it will always be having lowest amplitude or highest amplitude. It never comes with respect to your 0 level. Reference level will not be taken into consideration. Bipolar, 3 levels will be taken into consideration. In the bipolar, what happens? Either it can be at the highest particular peak, or at the normal particular reference node wherever 0 comes, or else next particular thing comes means it will be just taking it the alternative shifting of that particular bit. So this is how it will be working. Yes, we just noted that. Fine. So now what we are doing is we are going with the polar non-return to 0 principle, and it is in the level format. Non-return to 0 in that two particular categories are there. One is non-return to 0 level, non-return to 0 inversion. Non-return to 0 level we are using it. So with respect to that, we are adding the carrier frequency to this particular signal. 0 will be lowest amplitude, highest amplitude will be 1. 0 will be lowest amplitude, highest amplitude will be 1. This is how it will be here. That to the MSB bit, I'm just applying this. Okay. So for that, the shift will be changing. See, 0 always, according to us, with respect to your phase shift keying, we have analyzed that it will be starting with the 180 phase shift. So 180 from that, it will be starting it, and it will be just ending it with saying that it is 0. Similarly, from your 1, it will start with 0 and then end. So 0, once again, it will be changing. So this is how it will be working. Similarly, for the LSB bit, you just generate the line coding signal. 0 is that it will be taking the lowest amplitude level. So 0, 0, 1, 1, it will be. Similarly, your frequency will also be taken into consideration with respect to your oscillator. It will be generating. Now, question is how this particular frequency. See, it has been started from the 90 degree. It will be starting with respect to 270. So this is how it will be just changing its phase. So whereas 0, once again, it will be starting with the, it has been start 90 degree. Now it will be starting with the 270 degree. So it will be changing. So with respect to this carrier signal, it will be changing. See here, 1 is there. 1 will always start from highest amplitude. So that's all. It will be changing. So now if you combine these two, then you will be getting this output. If you combine this, I'll just tell you this, annotate, just give you the scenario. Talking about combination, this one followed by, sorry, not this, these two, if you combine it, this will be the in combination. This will be the output. So this is how the signal will be generated. If you encode this and if you send it to the other end, then this is how it will be just taken care of respect to this. So now, while decoding, it will be a reverse process. We need to add the same particular frequency. From this, we'll be getting back the original signals. Understood? So this is how it will be working with respect to your quadrature, phase shift, keying principle. Quadrature, remember one thing, it is 4. 4 point. Quad is always 4. 4 points if you want to have it means 4 data elements you need to have it means each element should have contain either 2 elements, 2 data points, or it's 1 data point, anything. So since 2 is there, only 2 elements are there, 0 or 1, I cannot go with 4 combinations. So that's why in order to apply this 4 combination, you need to have for a single element of data, you need to represent it with 2 separate, so 2 data elements should be representing 1 signal element. So 1 by 2, that's what it will be taken. So no, sorry, 2 by 1. So 2 elements of a particular signal. This is what it is. Ratio will be R is equal to 2. So with respect to that, we are just taking this notation. So that's all with respect to this quadrature, phase shift, keying principle. One simple example has been given. Find the bandwidth for a signal transmitting at 12 megabits per second for quadrature, phase shift keying. The value of D is equal to 0. Why the value of D should be given? What is the need of value of D? Why it should be given? See, once we are transmitting your phase shift keying, it will be similar to your amplitude shift keying. In the amplitude shift keying, we are not changing any particular amplitude with respect to your 0 bit is transmitted. It is called as on-off keying. Understanding it? On and off. Is there at the highest particular node or in the reference node? Anywhere it will be there. That is what you call as on-off. So the same particular formula is applied here also. Quadrature is a mixture of your phase shift keying followed by um, amplitude shift keying. So both the things is a combination. So with respect to this, that's what I said. 2 bits is carried in by 1 signal element means R becomes 2. So 2 divided by 1. So the signal rate, whatever the baud rate is there, S is equal to N divided by R or N into 1 by R. So with respect to that, number of bits is how much? How much? 12 bits, 12 Mbps for quadrature is given. So that means N is nothing but your bandwidth. That is nothing but N number of bit rate is 12 megabits per second. So your particular R value is 2. So with respect to this, S becomes 6 megabaud. Exactly half of that. So if you have 12 elements, it will be reduced to 6 particular elements. 6 signal elements is more than enough to represent all those particular 12 elements. 12 combination of your bit rate. Understanding it? So with respect to that, that is how it will be working. So each one, it is exactly 2 particular data bits, 1 signal element you need to have it. So with respect to it will be exactly. With a value of D is equal to 0, we have the value of D is equal to 0. That means, so what will be the formula that we have? We just need to, if you just can view it with respect to your, B is equal to 1 plus D multiplied by S. What is the formula? I'll annotate. Formula is B, which will be equal to 1 plus D multiplied by S. This is how it will be working, right? So with respect to this, if D becomes 0 means, then the formula will be B equal to 1 plus 0. They have given that D is equal to 0. That's what they are given it. So with respect to the D is equal to 0 means D, which will be equal to 1 into S, that is nothing but S. So whatever the signal rate that you have, that will be nothing but your bandwidth with respect to this particular symbol. With respect to quadrature, if D value is 0, then it will be. D can take 0 or 1. Okay, so maximum it can take 0 or 1. Within that particular range, it will be working. So this is nothing but your formula that you need to remember. So this is amplitude shift keying, phase shift keying is one and the same for calculating the bandwidth and the relationship between your bandwidth and the signal rate. Whereas with respect to your frequency shift keying, so the frequency shift keying, it will be, the formula will be different. That is 1 plus D into S plus 2 times of delta F. What is this 2 times of delta F? It is nothing but normally with respect to your frequency, there will be two-way of communication. That is, it can take with respect to starting from the lowest amplitude level, it can reach to the highest amplitude level. So that's why there will be two particular waveforms you need to have it. Or else in another way, it is a bidirectional one. It will never be a simplex one. It will be a full duplex type of communication mode you will be having it, or transmission mode will be having it. So with respect to that, 1 plus D multiplied by S plus 2 times of delta S. Okay, so that will be taken into consideration. So that's all with respect to this particular example program, or sorry, example thing that we have here. Next one is constellation diagram. Normally, whenever we will be talking about this constellation diagram, so what it will be having, it will be nothing but it will be expressed in terms of x and y plane. Okay, so in terms of x and y plane, where that particular component is available, that's what you will be just getting to know with respect to your constellation diagram. So normally with respect to amplitude shift keying, it will be there in the same particular amplitude, that is with respect to the first particular quadrant only you will be having it. So with respect to that particular first quadrant, all the things will be calculated and it will be taken care with respect to the thing. Why it is first quadrant and second quadrant? How it will be? In the space, if you want to identify or if you want to place your particular two-dimensional way of analysis with respect to the data, means then will be always dividing the whole space into 4 parts. Okay, so the right topmost one will be the first quadrant, left topmost one is the second quadrant, third quadrant will be nothing but right bottommost one, left bottommost one will be the fourth quadrant. So 4 quadrants will be just dividing it. Entire particular space will be divided into 4 different parts. The first one, that is with respect to your left topmost quadrant, always it will be treated as positive. So both the particular notations, that whatever you are taking it, it will be in the positive region. The second quadrant will be always taken as one with negative, that is x direction, it will be going in the negative direction, whereas y direction it will be going in the positive direction. Similarly, the third quadrant, both will be minus, whereas the fourth quadrant, minus with respect to y, plus with respect to x, plus minus will be taken into consideration. This is how it will be just going to take care. So they have given an example with respect to it. Normally constellation diagram, we have used this particular constellation diagram with respect to our star identification or star zodiac identification. We have this particular constellation. It is nothing but signal element will be pointing in that particular x and y plane. We are marking it. That's it. Nothing else. So that's all with respect to your constellation diagram. So in how much is the amplitude, that is the length, where it will be situated, what is the angle that we have with respect to that particular point, how it will be addressed, everything in detail will be just having it, understanding it. So whatever the diagram that we have seen it, it will be nothing but constellation diagram. See, 3 constellation diagrams has been represented here. One is with respect to your amplitude shift keying, which is nothing but on-off keying, which we have already discussed. Second one is with respect to your binary phase shift keying, and the last one is quadrature phase shift keying. So 3 constellation diagrams has been listed. See here, check out. With respect to your amplitude shift keying, there is no change in the amplitude with respect to your time. In the first quadrant only, it will be lying always. Understanding it? So with respect to this, 0 means it will be lying in the same position, reference point. There is no change. 1 means it will be changing. So this is nothing but your constellation diagram with respect to your amplitude shift. This is on, so this is off on or on off, whatever you want, you can just have it. So the next one is binary phase shifting. When with respect to your phase shifting, at that time 0 means it will be represented with respect to your reverse direction. Suppose if you have 1 at the maximum amplitude as 10 means 0 will be holding with respect to your minus 10. So that's how it will be available. So that's why based on that, so this is how the constellation diagram it will be available. Okay. So the next one is quadrature phase shifting. Quadrature phase shifting in this, so you need to have quadrature, that's what I said, 4 elements, 4 data elements you need to have it, 4 data points you need to send it. So each data point may have 2 bits to represent. Understand? So this is how it will be. So 0 0 always it will be going with the negative region. So next one is 0 1 1 1 followed by 1 0. 1 1 will always be going with the positive area, 0 0 negative area. So whereas with respect to your 0 1 0 always with respect to your negative, 1 will be with respect to your positive. So here that's all it will be represented. In the similar fashion, this one is also available. 1 with respect to x it will be positive, 0 with respect to y with respect to your negative. So this is how it will be represented with respect to your quadrature phase shift key principle. Understanding it? Quadrature amplitude modulation is a combination of amplitude shift keying and phase shift keying. That's all. Understanding it? With respect to your quadration, amplitude shift keying is amplitude is changing with respect to it. So you have 4 points lying in this particular same quadrant. So 4 QAM is nothing but this is how you can represent it in the other way. So 4 QA quadrature amplitude. So anything you can just represent it. You can just have this particular diagram with respect to constellation diagram will be represented with respect to your x and y plane. That's all you need to just remember it. So next we'll just move on to the next topic, that is analog and digital conversion itself. In this particular topic, we are converting the analog data into an analog signal. Understanding it? So one may ask why we need to modulate the analog signal since we have already got the analog signal. The thing is, it cannot travel to a larger distance. For that, we require some modulating element to be inserted. That is nothing but your carrier frequency need to be included along with the analog signal that need to be generated. So your carrier signal will be just a carrier mode. That's it. See, thing is, carrier signal is nothing but a transportation mode. Bus or vehicle, whichever you are taking it, it will not come and sit in the classroom. You are the person who need to come and sit in the classroom. You need to listen to the lecturing, not that particular non-living thing, right? Same way. We'll neglect it. Once it reaches to that particular end, we'll neglect that. We'll just take that particular frequency out. So whatever is necessary, that one will be taken into consideration. This is how it will be working. So normally, with respect to your modulation, we will be always going to use the band pass channel normally instead of using low pass or high pass channel. Band pass means there will be a fixed limit. Lowest frequency to highest frequency, there will be a fixed limit. Understand it? So first topic under this particular analog to analog conversion is amplitude modulation. Once again, the same thing, there is no change in it. So analog signals, whenever you want to generate it, you will be concentrating on these 3 concepts, that is amplitude, frequency, phase. Understanding it? So amplitude modulation, that is nothing but AM, we'll just go with it. Understanding it? Frequency modulation, that is nothing but FM. Normally, a frequency modulation FM will be going with the range of 88 megabits per second to 108 megabits megahertz. So 88 megahertz is the lowest signal rate or the lowest frequency rate, whereas with respect to your highest frequency rate is 108 megahertz. Understanding it? So between that, anything you can just change it. Okay, phase modulation. Phase modulation is nothing but according to the change in the according to that particular element, whatever you have generated it. So change in phase indicates there is nothing to take care about it. Wherever the changes happens at that time, the data is very important that need to be considered for our consideration. Analog to analog conversion, 3 particular categories comes into picture. How this amplitude modulation comes into picture? So we are using the same circuit. There is no change in it. What we have used it for your amplitude shift keying, the same circuit will be used. Only thing is the input signal will be different. Instead of giving the input as a digital signal, so we'll just go with the analog signal itself. Analog signal, the same signal need to be carried out. Understanding it? That's how it will be working. So with respect to this particular modulation, wherever the frequency is at the highest mode, the carrier frequency will be changing at that particular position. So it will be modulated to that particular complete area. That's what it says with respect to amplitude modulation. So what about the bandwidth? The total bandwidth that we require for your amplitude modulation can be determined from the bandwidth of the audio signal. Whatever the bandwidth that we have, twice that particular bandwidth we need to have it. Why? Because the carrier signal will also be there. Along with it, your original signal is there. Both the signal need to be combined and into just transmit it. Two signals you are just using it in one particular channel. So two bandwidth, two times of that particular signal you need to have it. So two times the bandwidth you need to have it. So say for example, you have a particular amplitude modulation band allocation will be there with respect to 530 kilohertz, between 530 kilohertz to 1700 kilohertz. Each signal, whatever the each particular bifurcation that you are making it, it can have with respect to 10 kilohertz, you can have one particular channel. So each channel, wherever the channel is there, so whichever the channel that you are just having it, so in that it will be having, you need to calculate the, you need to have the carrier frequency. Why? Because this particular 10 kilohertz is different, the next 10 kilohertz will be a different channel. So each channel you need to have a frequency, carrier frequency to be generated. Understanding it? So why? In order to transmit to a larger distance, you need to have it. What about the total bandwidth that you require for a frequency modulation technique? So in your frequency modulation technique, instead of having just two times of bandwidth, what we'll be doing is we'll be introducing one more particular stage, that is in the frequency modulation there will be two ways of communication. It will be not with respect to single way of communication. So 1 plus beta comes into picture. It is similarly what we have discussed with respect to frequency shift keying, 1 plus D was coming into picture, right? So instead of D, you will be replacing it with beta. So the bandwidth will be twice the bandwidth multiplied by 1 plus beta. Beta will be a constant member. If beta can go in the range from 0 or 1. If it is 0 means 2 times the bandwidth itself. If the beta level is 1 means then 2 times of bandwidth will be coming into picture. So that's how it will be working. So it will be becoming as 4 times of that particular bandwidth. So what it will be doing is analog signal which need to be modulated, I will be transmitting it to one of the particular circuit which is commonly known as voltage controlled oscillator. We are not transmitting the data as it is, we are controlling that particular oscillated signal through the voltages and then we'll transmit it. That means almost all the particular frequency will not be same. There will be a change in that particular frequency. Using that, I need to just generate a carrier frequency. Once this is generated, I'll just combine it with respect to the modulating signal, then your frequency modulated signal will come into picture. What about the particular bandwidth? We have already discussed that 2 times of bandwidth multiplied by 1 plus beta. Beta is nothing but, it will be nothing but the constant factor that will be taken care with respect to whether it will be starting from, it will be having two levels like 0 or 1, or with respect to that, what is the value of that particular beta, depending on that, we'll just continue it. Okay, so another 1 minute to go, we'll just wind up this particular class as early as possible. So, okay, this is nothing but your frequency modulation. So, next topic, we'll just go with it. So, what is a band range that we'll be having? As I told you, 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz, it will be there. Each particular signal will be having 200 kilohertz. So, with respect to your frequency modulation, you will be getting a highest bandwidth. Each signal, you need to cover it with respect to your carrier frequency, because to a larger distance, it can generate. In order to generate that 200 kilohertz, it need to vary, right? So, phase modulation, wherever the changes happens at that particular amount of time, we will be just getting that particular frequency will be one and the same. Otherwise, the change with respect to the frequency will come into picture. So, this is how it will be working. We'll just end the meeting now. So, we'll just stop recording.